I'm not even over-exaggerating with the title. Kamp Koral is probably the worst spin-off show I've ever seen, and there's lots of bad spin-off shows out there. The fact that someone actually pitched this to a Nickelodeon executive and then agreed to it is beyond my comprehension. Also, out of all the ideas for the first SpongeBob spin-off show, it had to be all of the characters taking place in a summer camp. Apparently, there's another SpongeBob spin-off show in the making called The Patrick Show or whatever, a show just solely based on Patrick. At least you can figure out why the creators wanted the spin-off show to be about Patrick. Nickelodeon thinks SpongeBob is for kids, kids like Patrick, Patrick's the dumb funny character that everyone loves, why not just make a spin-off show out of him? But what I can't understand is Kamp Koral. You've never heard anything about SpongeBob and Patrick going to a summer camp in the early seasons, so why are they making a show about it now? And why a prequel also? When I first heard that Kamp Koral was in production, I actually had a little bit of faith in it though. I obviously thought it was weird, but I felt like it kinda had potential. Everyone else had a bias towards the show from the get-go because of the, Steven Hillenburg controversy, but I was more worried if the whole show would actually work out. In my opinion, I feel like you can take any stupid idea and transform it into something good if it's done correctly in execution. Well, let's just say that Kamp Koral did not have the best execution. For starters, coming into this show, I thought what they were gonna have is stuff that you'd actually see in a summer camp. Like, climbing stuff, archery, or something. Just basically look at all the crap they had in the other stupid camp movies. But half of the stuff in here is just the regular crap that you'd see in the normal SpongeBob show. Or should I say, I guess, season 12, because that's basically what the show is, but kinda worse. Okay, let's get to episode 1. The Jellyfish Kid is the name of the first episode, and the first thing that comes to the screen is this obnoxious, infuriating intro. Intros in SpongeBob went from being clever, ahead of its time, and energizing, to being the most generic kids cartoon intro you can see everywhere. It reminded me of how bad the old SpongeBob intro was that came out in '97, I believe. The pre-SpongeBob intro was boring, bland, and for some reason 70s jazz music was playing in the background. It does not fit the style of the show at all. And there's also a very over-the-top cheesy narrator. SpongeBob SquarePants! You can definitely see why they decided to scrap this one out and make the intro we all know and love today, one that actually has a recognizable melody and something you can sing along to. But I don't feel like anyone anytime soon is going to be singing or humming the Kamp Koral intro. Probably because it isn't out of the ordinary like the real show's intro and isn't outside of the box. The three companies that own SpongeBob now just want to stay in their little box and are too afraid to try something new. This intro isn't ahead of its time, I think it's actually behind time. These musical type of cartoon intros occurred in like the late 90s and early 2000s. I think we're done with those types of intros for now. It doesn't seem like they really tried with this intro. I know it seems like I just keep rambling and rambling about this, but I think cartoon intros are important. If the creators decided to keep the weird 70s jazz intro, I don't think SpongeBob would be the successful juggernaut like it is today. Also, in the real SpongeBob intro, you have a lot of nautical nonsense being displayed on screen, but it's the nonsense that has a reason to be there. They have puns, they have SpongeBob trying to get changed, but never gets ready until the end of the intro. When they say nautical nonsense, they display nautical nonsense on screen. When they say absorbent in the song, it shows SpongeBob absorbing water, and all of the stuff in between is just so out of the ordinary that it just makes you laugh. The Kamp Koral intro doesn't match what's being heard in the lyrics and has SpongeBob being clumsy, getting flown in the air, has him exploding, landing on Squidward, and running around for some reason. I have no idea what's going on in this intro, and I don't know why it needs to be there. There's no clever puns or anything like that like the real show's intro. And apparently they have this new version of the intro now because the first one had too many sound effects that drowned out the music. So they made another one just entirely cutting out the sound effects. But, I do like the first one better because at least it, drowned out the terrible music. Okay, enough about the intro and let's get to the real episode. In the beginning of the episode, you hear SpongeBob's laugh as he crapes in the tall grass stalking his prey. Kamp Koral now makes jellyfishing seem creepy. It also weirds me out how SpongeBob actually has beginning credits overlaying during the episode. It makes it seem like it's some live-action TV series. Back then, usually a title card would appear and you would hear the music as it sets the tone of the episode. I don't want to see overlaying jumbled text that appear on the screen. Seriously, the only thing that actually reminds me that I'm watching SpongeBob is the repeating SpongeBob laugh you hear every second in this whole episode. SpongeBob's laugh used to be iconic and funny, but now it's just irritating to hear because they kept milking it. I have to say though, I do appreciate that the Hawaiian music is back. It fits the style of the show and it reminds me of season 1. It brings back the humanity of the show a little bit. I especially like the part when SpongeBob is being thrown across the room in one part of the episode while it's still playing relaxing Hawaiian music. This is something I heard a lot of people say, and it's about the color grading of this show. It always appears dark for some reason. It's fine if it's for the morning or dusk, but even in the afternoon, it still appears dark for some reason. SpongeBob's contrast is supposed to be bright and represent a light-hearted and innocent feeling to the show. Making it dark just makes it look empty and depressing. About 1/3 of the episode is actually just SpongeBob telling all the characters that it's jellyfishing day and he's gonna catch a jellyfish. He even woke up all of the campers in the middle of the morning just to spread the word while he makes that snickering laugh while doing so. SpongeBob is so overexcited in this episode, and that's actually not usually his character. SpongeBob in this episode only talks about himself when usually he would ask about someone else's day. I know the spinoff is a prequel, so some of the characters are bound to act differently, but I don't know why SpongeBob has to act like this. SpongeBob went from being a soy boy imaginative child, now to some atrocious weirdo that needs psychological therapy.
Jellyfish! Catching jellyfish!
After SpongeBob does some hilarious slapstick, at the corner of my eye, I actually spot Pearl as a baby. Some people imagined Pearl to be older than SpongeBob, but I kinda thought SpongeBob was at least a year older than Pearl, but not like 10 years older like they portrayed in this episode. Now it makes that one prom episode pretty creepy. As SpongeBob continues to catch jellyfish, the weirdest thing happens in this episode. Everyone can catch a jellyfish except for SpongeBob. Isn't SpongeBob known as probably the best jellyfisher ever? How is everyone, even including Patrick, catching a jellyfish except for SpongeBob yet? Even at the end of the episode, he still doesn't catch a jellyfish. You'd think the episode would be about working hard and trying your best to achieve your goals, but it's not even about that. I don't know what it's supposed to be. It doesn't even make sense. All SpongeBob gets is a save a camp counselor from a monster badge at the end of the episode, and that's it. So the next episode is called Sugar Squeeze. It's about SpongeBob and Patrick losing their stash of candy and are on a search to find them. Sandy assists them and eventually uses SpongeBob as bait to find the person who's been eating all their candy. To be honest, I actually find this episode to be worse than the Jellyfish Kid. You're probably wondering why I say this because it doesn't seem that bad so far. Well, a few moments later, we get introduced to a new character. And what I mean by a new character is someone that doesn't stick around for an episode and then disappears like usual. I'm talking about an ongoing character that sticks around for the rest of the series. And the way they introduce this character is kidnapping all of the characters and stuffing them in her house against their will. That's a great way to introduce your character, especially when the character is not a villain. Since it's obviously underwater, I was confused what sea creature she was at first, until I saw the nose and realized I think she's a narwhal. Gee, I wonder why she has to be a narwhal. This character is basically almost every single season 12 episode just put into a character. She has no character traits except for being a burnout lunatic, I guess. And she has no character goals. Squidward wishes to be famous and quit his job at the Krusty Krab. SpongeBob wants to be the best fry cook and jellyfisher. Sandy wants to be a great scientist. Mrs. Puff wants SpongeBob to pass his driver's test so she won't have to deal with the pain and insanity. Patrick doesn't have much character goals, but in some episodes he does, and he's always selfish about them, but, you know, that's his character trait. This character's goal is to, I guess, get every camper high on yellow cocaine in this episode. Whatever that is. In fact, I don't think she has a strong character goal at all, which, newsflash, makes the character super boring and useless. Even the old SpongeBob characters that showed up for an episode and disappeared checked all the boxes for having a new character. This new character decided to erase all that and forget it. I don't even have to explain the rest of the episode because it's basically just the usual season 12 type garbage that we've seen. The next episode is called Tag Youre It. It's about all the campers having to stay inside the cabins because there's a storm outside. I do actually like the idea of this episode. It's all the characters trying to figure out something to do that's fun, but they decide to play tag. I don't think this is a good idea because when it comes to tag, it's just basically every character saying tag Youre It, and then tag Youre It. Older SpongeBob episodes did this, and it was kind of boring. In fact, that kind of seems the case for all cartoons when they do that. It's just each character tagging each other and then tagging them back.
It's boring!
I'm pretty sure the writer told the animators to crank it to animation overload, just because he knew his idea of tag would be boring. Couldn't the characters play a board game like Eels and Escalators or something? That would actually be a good callback to the early seasons. I know a lot of people will think that idea is more boring because it's a board game, but if they can make a masterpiece episode about SpongeBob playing with a piece of paper, I'm pretty sure they can make SpongeBob playing a board game the same. You can't really do that with tag though, it's just kind of boring. I just remembered an episode that was very similar to this, and when they were stuck in their house because of a storm, they fought over food, territory, and played board games. I don't see tag anywhere in this episode. So after SpongeBob does some strange stuff and Patrick falls on Squidward, Squidward has enough of their crap and kicks them out of the cabins. Then SpongeBob makes a line that actually bothers me.
Oh, but it's money out here.
Yeah, but it's money out here! Isn't SpongeBob the one that actually takes a bad situation and makes the best out of it? Why is SpongeBob being a whiny baby all of a sudden? Anyways, the crew goes inside another cabin and basically repeats the same tag bullcrap that we saw earlier. Then SpongeBob sings a tag Youre It song while he goes inside the other cabins and repeats playing tag over and over again. And the episode just ends like that. That's it. I wouldn't say it's the worst episode out of the two, but definitely the most boring. I would love to keep ranting about all of this, but this video is kind of getting long, so I'll make a part 2. Also, after I fully review Kamp Koral, I'm going to be reviewing every single SpongeBob season. I saw that someone wanted me to review Season 7, and then another Season 6, and then I think Season 8, but I thought, why not just review every single season, explain what's my favorite season, my favorite episode, my least favorite season, my least favorite episode. I'm also going to be including spin-offs in the video as well, so I hope you all have a nice day. I'll see you later.